Well, today I'm going to start a new series that's building a real-time chat application with Golang Echo, Gorilla WebSocket, and HTMX. Well, there might be other tools, but these are the three core ones that I'm learning and do the sharing on. Well, I've already started the project repository, like the basic one, where we have a main.go file in charge of starting the Echo server and all this. And then I have CSS. This is the Tailwind CSS and DTO. So this DTO will be having all the data structure that we have along the way, custom fonts, templates. So all the HTML will go to here, and I'm using the Golang temper framework. So the syntax is that it looks like this. So it's like a temper function where I can put the HTML tag in and also some Golang functions along the way. I have the .a.toml for running the hot reload for the Golang server. I have Makefile. So Makefile, essentially this is copied from another project, and the things I will be using is just this CSS watch. So CSS watch, it helps in generating the output.css from the Tailwind. So they will select like the CSS that I've used and then populate output.css, so that my code has the excuse me, has the style. And I'll put this GitHub repository in a public repository so that you can copy over the entire template and also follow me along the way of the process. And without further ado, let's get started. Right, so looking at, we have already got the main.go file ready here. The first step is I want to build a UI first, but I'm missing a file, so I'm going to open it out, the to-do app that I've used last time, and copy my tailwind.config.js. This one I forgot to do during my setup just now. Oh shit. So I call this a tailwind.config.js and paste it here. So this will tell the Tailwind that when you are exporting the output.css, remember to refer to the folders that I've specified. So whatever changes, put it in. Make sure that they are in. I will have a folder called components also. I just put it in case. Right, so now we've done that. I'm using Ubuntu as well, so it's very fast. Like the server runs super fast. Right? Oh, I've already got the server running. Okay, so here I'm running the Mac CSS-watch so that I can generate the output.css without restarting the command. And on the right hand side, I have air so that I can run my server. Whenever there are changes, they will also rebuild and rerun the server for me. So I can just reload the website browser, then the new changes will be there already. Right, with the preparations done here, I'm going to do a bit of UI. So let me reload it. Okay, now my main page is not supported yet because I'm throwing error. Haven't started anything yet. Okay, just remove this. Alright, so we have the Golang HTMX chat app in our index template. We have the Tailwind CSS output. We also have HTMX. So HTMX, there is also an extension called multi-swap that's used for swapping multiple elements. We may not use it, but I'm just putting it in just in case. We also need another extension called the Websocket set.js, ws.js. This is the HTMX Websocket plugin. Okay, guess these two are the things that we need. And then from here, let me just check if I can render the main.go file already. So when user go into slash, I want it to trigger the templates.index file and write it to our response writer. So if we reload this page, we can see the HTMX, Golang HTMX chart now is completely black because I put it black color, and I want it to be Okay, so I want to go for Tailwind CSS a bit to find out my documentation and quick search on the min height. Okay, I want this min hash screen. So just now I noticed that hash screen will cause my page to overload, so I cannot use that. Okay, so our code is very simple. It's a black color thingy. It's because I've added the background black from Tailwind, and I'll center align everything. The next thing I'm going to do is the center here. So this is my sort of like my container page where I can have all the content in the middle and align well with a maximum height of maximum width of max 2xl. 2xl I think is 600 something, right? I don't recall that, but basically just squeezing everything in the center. And here I want to render my chart list. Okay, so the chart list is going to be a white color thingy. Actually, don't need to be white color. I can add in okay, for today, right? Probably I'm not going to focus too much on the UI. I'm going to focus on the logic, the WebSocket logic. And then from here, it's going to be a message.temper, and copy the entire thingy. Package is components, and here will be our message. So this is the message div that I'm going to use it later. So message is a string type, and it's going to be very simple. Just a p that inside have a class equal to text white color, and then the message in the content, the p content. And our index.tempo is going to add in like bunch of components dot message. Welcome to HTMX. Okay, right, we have welcome to HTMX now. Oh, because just now I put the min height screen. Oh, it's a m, it's not min. Reload again. Okay, so this is how it looks like. We have a p, very simple p, and then it will render the list of contents. But I want it to align center as well, with a gap of say 24 pixels. Okay, no. Every file I don't need a 24 pixel. I just make it this 16 pixel will do, like 4416. Okay, so we have welcome to HTMX. Here. Alright, the gap is very huge, but because that's because I put it very large. If we make it smaller, then it'll be smaller. Okay, I mean the zoom. Okay, so now we have got the messages component ready and the index.tempo ready. I'm going to connect to the WebSocket, but before that, definitely we need to set up the WebSocket in AirCore. So AirCore, I'm using this thing called Gorilla server, Gorilla WebSocket. Reason being, I don't know if this is true or not. It's just that from the internet, I found that this is the more recommended one over the boilerplate provided by AirCore on the net WebSocket. So basically, I'm going to use the Gorilla WebSocket and copy over the function they use to initialize the WebSocket server. So it's pretty simple, just copy a code, copy paste only. So this is the what we call this as join chart. Okay, I will move this to another file if the logic gets very big. But now I'm just going to put it, like keep it inside the same file as main.go, and then make it a private function. Okay, so we got the upgrader already and all this. It's mentioned that the code is unused, so I don't know why is it unused. It should be used already, but I'm just going to put in e.get hello like this. So join chart, is going to be slash WebSocket slash chat. Okay, so my entry point for the code is slash ws slash chat, and it's going to invoke a join chat function that is going to first of all upgrade the communication. I don't know what is it upgrading to, but you upgrade the HTTP server connection to the WebSocket protocol, and then from here is infinite loop. You keep writing a message and keep reading a message, but I do not want to do it infinite loop like this. I'm just going to send a byte first, and then after sending it, wait for a while, sleep for a duration probably second times 10, so it's 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds send a hello client message to the front end side, and this is an infinite loop. So essentially any connection that come to a join chat will keep looping inside the for loop. I figured out how to improve the keep alive, because if I don't do an infinite loop, right, every time the user join the chat, it will get disconnected as soon as the router logic has ended. So I don't want it to end, just keep it looping. But definitely I feel there will be a better way of doing things aside from using a time.sleep. But there's a story afterwards. For today I'm just going to focus on this the logic of sending message to the client. Okay, so I have a join chat ready now. The setup from the backend side, I think it's already done. It's just that for the front end, right? For front end, I need to initiate the WebSocket connection so that the client can connect to the backend and receive and communicate with the backend with sockets. It's also very simple. Basically, there are code here already. First is in my main container, I'm going to add in the extension from HTMX. So #xws, and then the WebSocket connect is /ws/chat. Okay, so this is done, and we have a division to contain all the. Okay, so basically, right, I'm going to put this in the external container, and the internal one is going to receive messages. So the ID is called chat room. So this chat room section is going to receive a message and add in messages along the way when it receives a new one. Okay, so that's the idea. I'm going to check if there's anything wrong with my application. So you can see that nothing has changed. Basically, the exact same messages have been shown on the screen. But if you go to the network, right, you reload it, you can see the chat. There is a socket connection that has been initiated between the client and the server, and this is when you click the network and click the record, right, you can see that every 10 seconds you receive the message from the backend called hello client. And then the front end side, the only thing that you need to do is you need to swap the components. I mean, like display the messages that are sent by the backend on the screen. Okay, so that's how the real-time application is being built. And one more thing about WebSocket, right? For the WebSocket extension by HTMX, it actually has a retry mechanism that grows exponentially. So for example, if the first time they lost connection, they'll try to reconnect within a short period of time. But as the failed reattempts increasing, it will get slower and slower for the interval for the next retry, and afterwards it will be like very, very long time for it to reconnect back because of the logic. And there's actually way to resolve this, but it's not the key thing. And I feel that the exponential retry mechanism is good enough because it will retry, yeah, and it won't retry if the same thing keeps failing. Okay, so coming back, now we got the messages from the backend already. We got the receiving messages from WebSocket section in the HTMX documentation, where it tells you that it will pass the data sent down by the WebSocket and pass it as a HTML and swap in with the ID property. Same logic as out of band swaps. So out of band swaps is actually I mean, like when we mention about swapping, it means that we exchange or we modify the components, the HTML elements, with a new HTML data. That's all. And what I want to do now is that I want to check the message, right? Because we are adding this message, right? I want the behavior to be when we see the front end, right? The behavior is that if we do like normal swapping, right, it will exchange the element that we already have with a new element. But this behavior is not the thing I want. Like, welcome to HTMX, this thing I want to keep. The section divider also I want to keep. I just want to append it at the bottom every time the new message comes. So what I need to do is that I need to, okay, first thing is main.go. Instead of sending the message as byte, like the string byte, it has to be in a HTML but byte. Okay, it's actually very simple to do because of the Golang, the temper framework. So component, I call this a library, but anyway, equals to this components dot message hello client. Okay, so this is the component. It will is a automatically generated one. If you want to know more about temper, you can watch my previous video on the getting started with HTMX and Golang. That's right. So it basically instantiate one HTML element with the data of hello client, and then from here I'm going to write to prepare a buffer that I can send it. So buffer is it means you can think it as a structure that can be then converted into a byte afterwards. So render it with a context.background, and then the writer would be okay. Sorry, buffer is forgot already. Golang buffer writer. Okay, byte subject blah blah blah. Okay. So this is from ACO. I think I need to find the documentation for here. So it's called bytes.buffer. So this is the temper documentation. We can use a component that is rendered by the temper engine into a standard output like the console log, or as string, or even as this buffer types. So I can convert it to string afterwards. So coming back to the thing, the syntax should be like this. Okay, hopefully it works. Okay, now I have the buffer already. Component dot render context dot background, and then the buffer right here. Okay, so this is how we write the HTML into the buffer, and then buffer will now contain the message, the HTML message. I'm just going to send, instead of the hello client, it becomes the buffer dot bytes. That is all. Okay, so basically in action, I think it's easier for you to see the changes, right? Okay, so this, now you can see that the socket connection, right, it will return back a string of this p class that equals to text white hello client HTML element. Then this element can then be used by HTMX to do the swapping. So swapping is on the client side. Now I have the message.temper being returned every time it the backend triggers a hello client response, the write message function. Now I want to specify where I want to put the item in, and from here it's going to be using this hashtag swap OOB attribute. So this one I'm also not very familiar, but any valid hashtag swap. So hashtag swap value is actually the position, like inner HTML after the outer HTML, etc. And it controls where we want to put the HTML element. So I think from the here it should be the before end. So it will insert my HTML element after the last child of the target element, which is I want to put it right here. Okay, sorry. Hashtag swap OOB equal to is going to be any value hashtag swap valid followed by the messages chat room ID. So it will go to find my chat room ID, which is this chat room, and then it will attempt to add it before this ID chat room ends, meaning that it will append to the bottommost here. I think this is all the things I need to do to do the swapping. Let's see if that does the magic. Reload, and hopefully it does the work. Right. Wait a minute. Oh, it worked. Okay. Hey. Text white isn't the text white isn't loaded in our CSS. So this is the CSS related issue where we need to empty cache and see if that works. It adds the data in, that's true. The hello client is not the data is populated, but it doesn't have any style actually. It's very strange, because I do pass in the p hello client, all this. Maybe I'm just going to change it with the entire message inside like this, and then this is not going to do a swapping. I don't need to do a swapping in the inside, but it's just weird. Okay, let's try again. Hopefully it works now. Why is there a huge gap? Where's my okay. Swap is going to swap the before and with div, swap the p. Okay, let's see if there are anything that I miss out. Let's restart the server just in case. Okay, boom. I wonder why is this hashtag swap OOB before. Oh shit. Because index.temper has the messages, and okay, I can write like this. Okay. Let me check again how to do this. Basically, it does work one, just that it doesn't add in the p in. That's actually very strange. But anyway, for the day, right, I'll solve this afterwards to keep this video shorter without seeing me keep debugging it. The idea is there already, where I will every time when there's a data swap in. Oh, actually I may know the reason. No, I don't know the reason. It's a text message, right? Reading the buffer, and then the message is hello client, entire components. Okay, how about binary message? No. Okay, although I feel like solving this, but it's okay. I'll keep this to the next section. Display about what is happening in my code and see how can I solve this. But this is the idea, as in the communication with HTMX is via HTML. The same, be it a HTTP communication or a WebSocket communication, is still the same thing. Communicate via HTML. That is the key towards building any sort of application, including a real-time app. After this, because this is a one-sided communication where server keep pumping in the data to the front end, which is not the case for a normal chat or messaging app. Server needs to have the capability for the client to send message and to react based on the message that has been sent by the client, be it broadcasting to the other active clients or other things. We will see how it goes after this. Right, thanks. See ya.